Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's flow is going to be dedicated to all frontline workers out there that are working extra hard for society, for each and every one of us during this pandemic, during this time. I wanted to give a personal shout out to nurses like Adriana, like Jennifer, like Nicole, many others. Frontline workers in the food industry such as Bella, Liz, Tony, so many more out there. If you know anybody that's right now working a little extra hard out there for society, please give them your love, anything from the heart, any support that you can give them. Some people right now are working more than ever. Some people are taking a break. Everybody's situation is different. People are working from home. It is all very difficult right now. It's definitely a moment of change and transition, and sometimes that can be very difficult. So really being compassionate and offering our love and giving from the heart is so important right now for society and for everybody and everything. So for today's flow, it's going to be more of a gentle flow. So let's get started. Let's start today in a child's pose, Balasana. Taking the knees out wide, big toes touching, and just slowly sinking down towards our heels, maybe wiggling a bit, extending the hands out, and gently melting your forehead down. Maybe here, slowly swaying in the hips. Maybe taking here your forehead from side to side as you sway your hips, just to give your face a bit of a massage. Feel the earth beneath your fingers, maybe finding a little extra length, imagining that you want to grab onto the top edge of your mat. And when you're ready to melt into stillness, find your stillness. Let your breath be the only thing that moves here. Feeling your belly rise and fall with your breath. Taking this time to ground our energy, to connect with our physical body, to connect with the rhythm of your breath. Connecting with your intention for your practice. And dedicating today's practice, today's flow to someone that you know right now is working a little extra hard, needs a little extra love sent to them energetically. Mindfully breathing into our intention and dedication. Perhaps flipping our palms now to face the sky. Giving away that energy, that love, that intention. If you flip your palms, gently release the palms back to the earth. From here, gently walk the hands over to the right hand side. Maybe take the left hand on top if you're feeling like it. From here, take your forehead down or your right cheek, whichever feels best, and just melt here. Let your heart melt, your hips sink. Feel your left rib cage expand here with your breath. Feel your left hip grounding you down, giving you that nice stretch. From here, gently finding our way back through center, melting in our child's pose once more, just taking some grounding breaths back in our balasana. And when you're ready, we're slowly now going to come to the left side. Now walking the hands to the left, maybe that right hand goes on top, and again, melting here. Really let your heart melt to the earth, your hips towards your heels, especially your right hip. Feel your belly and your rib cage expand as you breathe. When you're ready, with love and patience, coming back to our center, Balasana, child's pose, grounding here for a couple more breaths. From here, we're gently going to rise up into our hands and knees. Making sure that your knees are underneath your hips, your shoulders above your wrist. From here, spreading out the fingers to take pressure off our wrist. When you're ready, inhale, arch through the spine as you look up. And on the exhale, rounding in the spine. Imagine taking your heart towards the ceiling. Yet following the rhythm of your breath. Inhaling to arch in the spine. Exhaling to round. When you round, tuck your tailbone in, slightly tuck your chin in too. When we arch, making sure that our shoulders are far away from the ears. Notice how it feels like to wake up the spine. Let's take a couple more breaths here, a couple more rounds. Taking our final round here at your own pace. From here, coming onto our hands and knees, we're going to work on a bit of balance just to help activate our core as well. So from here, we're slowly going to extend the right foot back. You can flex or point. Find a drishti, something to look at. Maybe moving around that ankle if that were to feel good, in one direction and in the other, just to wake up our foot. From here, choose whether you want to flex or point. Maybe come onto your fingertips on that left hand or extend the left hand out. Here, working with our balance, working with our drishti. Taking one more deep breath. From here, keep the foot floating. We're just going to settle that left hand down. From here, bend in that knee, open up through that hip. Maybe take some circles here with your knee. Flex your foot to help you do this. Taking about 3 or 4 circles in one way, and then switching the direction of those circles. We always want to do them in both directions. When you've completed your rounds, we're gently going to settle back into our tabletop. We're going to tuck our toes and take a down dog. Lift the hips and the heart back. Maybe here bending in the knees and then slowly straightening out the legs, playing with that if that were to feel good. Walk the legs in place. And when you're ready, finding our stillness. Taking about 3 rounds of your breath. Maybe for those final 2s, taking a deep breath in through your nose. And sighing it out. Maybe 1 more of those deep breaths in through your nose. Sigh it out, send your heart back. From here, back into our tabletop position, gently landing our knees back onto the earth with a lot of love. From here, making sure we're aligned, shoulders above the wrists, hips above the knees. From here, now left foot melts back. Floating the foot off the earth. Maybe moving around that ankle and one in both directions. Keeping activation through that floating foot. When you're ready, whether you want to flex or point, finding your choice. From here, maybe on our fingertips, maybe that right hand extends off. Notice how this side feels. Stay committed to your breath, to your drishti. Finding something to pour all of our attention, our focus on. From here, that right hand melts, that foot stays floating. From here, bend through that knee, open up the hip. Again, taking about 3 or 4 circles in one direction, like if you're drawing a circle with your knee. And making sure we do it in both ways, flexing through that foot to help us do this. When you're ready, melting the knee back to earth. From here, inhale the right arm up and then thread the hand underneath the left. Melting the right shoulder to the earth. Maybe here that left hand extends out in front. Maybe you want to take prayer position at the heart. If you want to continue to work on your balance, you can float the left foot back. But if you float that foot, just making sure we have integrity and tension throughout that leg, making sure it's not dead weight that we're floating. Taking a couple more deep breaths into that right shoulder. From here, make sure your left hand is supported on your mat close to your face. We're going to press through that left hand to help you send the right hand back up. And from here, we melt it back down. Gently coming onto the other side. Inhale, left arm now goes up. And from here, we thread that left arm underneath the right. And finding your variation, whether you just want to relax that hand, take prayer position at your heart, or maybe float that right leg back. Whatever you choose is all perfect. Enjoy the feeling of your breath. Couple more breaths here. When you're ready, making sure your right hand is supported on the earth, preferably close to your face. Press through that hand to help you send the opposite hand back up to the sky, and then back into our tabletop. From here, down dog once more, tuck the toes, lift the hips, send the heart back. Maybe shake out the head, maybe walking here once more. And when you're ready, inhale to your tippy toes and gently tippy toe your way to your hands. We're gonna find a forward fold Uttanasana at the top of the mat. Making sure we have a soft or a deep bend in our knees, letting the head melt of any tension, maybe grabbing onto the elbows for a ragdoll. Let gravity melt you here, nothing to do but to just breathe. Really encourage you to bend your knees, especially if you want to give your lower back some relief. Letting our bellies rest on our thighs is also a way of boosting your immune system. And if you do feel your belly press onto your thighs as you breathe. This might be your first forward fold of the day. Notice what it's telling you. From here, option to release the hands down and walk them over to the right side. Letting the head bow here, again, still having that soft or deep bend in our knees. Maybe from here, coming to the other side, slowly passing through center to then walking it out to the left. Again, let the head bow. There might be a tendency to want to hold up your head. Just let the head melt. Mindfully breathing our way back to our forward fold at center. This time we're going to inhale, halfway lift, find that length in the spine, and then exhale, melt a little deeper. From here, soften in the knees. Let the head be the last thing to rise as we slowly roll our way up. Take your time, there's no rush. Once your head goes up, your shoulders go up with you, and then slowly relax them down away from the ears. Palms facing forward, spreading through our fingers. Your arms have gentle weight. Your breath is full. And checking back into our intention, our dedication for today. When you're ready, inhale, reach the hands up to the sky. And exhale, the hands together at the heart. Inhale, send that energy back up. And exhale, send the energy down to Pachamama as we melt and fold, soften in the knees. From here, we're gonna step our right foot back. Find the distance that feels right for you, and from here, we relax that knee, we untuck the toes. Making sure our front knee is tracking our ankle. Shoulders away from the ears, sink into the hips here. Feel that grounding come from your hips, and the growth come from the crown of your head and your heart center. Notice what your hips may be telling you, what is showing up here. You can stay here at center, or if you'd like, maybe settle the right hand down and the left hand comes up. Maybe from here, you'd like to bend that back knee. Maybe you grab a hold of that foot or not, however you choose. But if you're here, make this more about your heart. Think about sending your heart up to the ceiling. One more breath wherever you choose. From here, the left hand comes back down to your pinky toe if it was lifted. Gently here, half split, half Hanumanasana, extending the front leg, walking hands back. Making sure we're not dumping all of our weight back. Distribute the weight between your legs, ground through your heel. You can flex or point however you choose, and just melting towards your left leg. If you'd like a little bit more here, you can walk the hands closer to your foot. If you still want to work on some balancing, maybe balancing, grabbing onto that ankle. But wherever you are, take this as a forward fold. Let yourself bow to your left leg. One more conscious breath. From here, bending back into that knee, framing our foot with our hands. This time around, we're gonna step the left foot over towards the left corner of your mat. So slowly heel toe your feet over to the corner. From here, both hands are now at the inside, right next to your big toe. So from here, we're at a lizard lunge now. Just take a moment to tuck your toes, activate your leg. Maybe here rock forward and back, noticing how that feels. Pressing through our hands just like we would in a plank. From here, make sure your knee is tracking your ankle. We relax that knee down, untuck the toes. Breathing here. Maybe staying on your hands. If you want more, you can come down to your forearms. Wherever you choose. Taking deep breaths wherever we are, making sure we're not collapsing in our shoulders. Have intention throughout your body, whether your hands are extended or even when you're down. Think about growing out of your shoulders rather than caving and melting your weight down. Feel tension in your neck and shoulders. Perhaps finding some movement there. Mindfully from here, we're going to find a child's pose. So slowly step that left foot back, open up the knees out wide. Big toes touch, gently sinking down. You might notice the difference between one leg and the other, between your hips. Just take a moment to acknowledge how that feels. Noticing where else, not just in our bodies, but in our lives, could we maybe be out of balance? Where can we shed that awareness into? Slowly rising back into your hands and knees, getting ready to even our body out by doing the other side. Just gently draw the knees underneath the hips, tuck the toes, and find your down dog. Movement or stillness, your choice. When you're ready, inhale to your tippy toes and slowly tippy toe your way to your hands. Find your forward fold. From here, inhale, halfway lift, roll through your spine, through the crown of your head too, and then exhale to melt back down. From here, soft bend in the knees, slowly, mindfully rising up. Take your time. Having your head be the last thing to rise. Once your head rises, bring your shoulders up with you and then draw them down away from the ears. Connecting back with our Tadasana mountain pose. Back with your breath. From here, we're going to interlace the hands behind our back, shoulders away from the ears. From here, release the chin down towards your chest. Slowly here, drawing the head from side to side. Noticing how it feels like to melt your head over to the right. And how it feels over on the left. Taking a little mental note of how this feels, of how both sides feel. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears, helping us get the most out of this moment. Taking one more round at your own pace. Breathing out the tension that doesn't serve us. When you're ready, chin melts down to your chest. Grow here, taking the chin parallel to the earth. From here, shoulders mindfully away from the ears. Bend in the knees, take a forward fold here. Again, keeping the knees bent. There might be a tendency to lock the knees, so making sure we have that soft or deep bend. Let your head melt too. From here, if you haven't already, take your hands to your lower back and just melt them down to the earth. Gonna come for the other side, bending in the knees and stepping the left foot back. Find your distance, make sure the knee is tracking the ankle, and from here we relax the knee down, untuck the toes, sinking into the hips, growing from the head. Notice if your shoulders are tensing up, draw them to help you ground yourself to the earth. Conscious breaths. Again, feel the grounding, the hip opening when you exhale here. And when you're ready, maybe taking a variation where the left hand comes down and our right fingers reach up to the sky. Pressing with the bottom hand, reaching with the top. Maybe here taking the variation where we bend our knee. This side might be completely different. I know I feel a difference. This side is much tighter for me. It might be the opposite or the same for you. But again, make this more about your heart, shining your heart towards the sky. Maybe growing a smile, that always helps. Notice if your knee is melting to the side, try to hug it into your body too. When you're ready, that right hand comes down by your pinky toe. Coming for our half Hanumanasana. Extend the front leg. Gently walk the hands back. And again, making sure our weight is distributed between both of our legs. We're grounding through the heel, flexing or pointing. And just melting as we fold. Taking whichever variation you took on the other side, whether the hands were extended or whether you worked on your balance, however you choose. Notice your right hip pulling back, your left hip pulling forward, keeping your hips squared and even here. Notice what happens each and every breath you take. Mindfully, we're going to bend back into that knee, frame the foot with our hands. From here, finding that lizard, so just scooching that right foot over to the right side, to the right edge of your mat. From here, both hands come towards the inside next to your big toe. We're gently going to tuck the toes behind us, activate that leg, gently rock forward and back. When you're ready, make sure the knee is tracking the ankle. Relax the back knee down. Untuck the toes. You can stay on your hands. Come down to your forearms, whichever way resonates with you here on this side. Shoulders away from the ears, breath flowing. Feel each and every toe in that right foot grounding and supporting you. Feel your exhale take away what doesn't serve. Couple more deep breaths. Notice what happens if you just breathe. You have to be uncomfortable in order to grow. But the breath is always with you. When you're ready, we're going to find that child's pose. This time, we're going to take the variation where both of our legs are close together. We sink into our heels, let the forehead melt to the earth, and the hands go back. Let your shoulders drop here, just melting the shoulders. Notice how this child's pose feels. Perhaps now we find some more balance between our legs. Invitation to stay here or take rabbit pose. If you're coming for rabbit pose, instead of taking your forehead to the earth, we're going to take the crown of our heads, almost where my butt is at, basically. From here, we grab onto our feet. We lift the hips just to get that nice stretch in our upper back. If you have an inversion in your practice, now would be the time to go there if you'd like. A couple more breaths, maybe grounding ourselves back into that child's pose, settling the hips back towards the heels.
melting the forehead now to the earth, relaxing the shoulders and the arms. From here, mindfully extending the hands back out in front, finding ourselves on our hands and knees. We're going to settle the knees over to one side to let the hips melt and extend the legs forward. We're going to separate the feet, take a straddle. So maybe you want to come towards the long side of your mat. From here, flex or point. Inhale, grow, and then exhale, slowly start leading with your heart and then with your head as we melt. If you have a pillow or pillows, feel free to take some. Couple more deep breaths. This might be a very intense pose. So let your breath guide you here. Let your breath be strong. Mindfully, we walk the hands back. From here, we're going to hug the right leg in. Keep the left leg extended. We're going to do both sides, so if you want to do whichever side first, it's up to you. But if you're going towards the left side first, taking the left hand down, inhale, reaching up with your right, and then slowly sending it over to the side. From here, very important, making sure the heart doesn't cave forward. Send the right shoulder back. Open up your heart. Stay strong in your neck. You can look up or down. Feeling this in our lower back, feeling that right hip grounding you down to get your stretch. From here, come back through center. We're gonna find a half pigeon here. So we're gonna keep that right knee bent. And then from here, we're gonna send our hips square down to the earth. Your leg can stay extended back, or maybe it feels better to draw that back leg in closer. Wherever you are, inhale to grow and then exhale to melt, whether your leg is bent or whether your leg is fully extended. Maybe if you have pillows that you can settle your forehead on, that's also a great option. Let your jaw relax and perhaps connecting with at least 3 things to be grateful for today. Couple more deep breaths, breathing into what we were grateful for. From here, supporting the hands to your mat, lifting our heads, our hearts back up. From here, now the hips open up back to the side. We're gonna find that straddle, extend the legs out. I wanna take one more straddle forward fold, so maybe here swaying the hips. Inhale to grow and then exhale to melt. Make sure the legs are not dead weight, flex or point. Integration throughout the whole body. Notice how this feels a second time around. Find your breath. When you're ready, back through center. We're gonna come now towards the opposite side, hugging in the left knee.
Keeping the opposite leg, the right leg extended. Right hand comes down. Inhale, reaching with the left and then sending that energy over towards your right side. Again, making sure we're not caving forward. Opening up our hearts. Gazing wherever feels best on your. Feel your left hip supporting you. One more breath here. From here, find your way through center. We're gonna find that half pigeon now on the opposite side. So now here, sending our hips to square towards the earth. Maybe that right leg extends back. Maybe it feels better to have it in close to listen to your body. Whether you choose to be here or with the leg extended, gently melt as you fold. Again, all options are available. We're just melting into our half pigeon. Perhaps notice a difference from the other side and breathing into that difference, making sure we're not judging it for better or worse, just simply different. Where attention goes, energy flows. Notice where you would like to send some extra healing into your body. Perhaps into your mind, certain thoughts or things that may be showing up for you. Taking a couple more final breaths. It's just you and your breath. When you're ready, slowly, the hands come closer to your body to help you raise your upper body back up. From here, that back leg comes forward. We extend both legs out in front. Ground the hips down. Feel free to give them a little shake. From here, flex or point. Inhale to grow and exhale for your Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Again, let this not be about reaching your toes, but about bowing to yourself, especially if you're a frontline worker. Take a moment to bow to yourself. If you're not a frontline worker, or just in general, we should always bow to ourselves and to others. Think of that dedication. Who else can you bow here and give them your love? Bowing our heads, our bodies to ourselves because we're amazing, to others because they deserve it too. Taking one more breath here, maybe inhaling, growing through the spine. Imagine that you want to take your heart towards your toes, and then exhale for your final bow.
From here, the hands come closer towards your hips to help you rise up. We're gonna bend in the knees and making sure that there's nothing behind us. Slowly melt down. Bring your knees into your heart. Give yourself a hug. Sometimes we hug everybody else but ourselves, so really truly give yourself that hug. Maybe a couple sways from side to side. From here, happy baby. Taking the feet towards the sky, grabbing onto the outer edges of your feet or wherever in your legs feels the most organic. Imagine drawing your quadriceps towards the earth, your tailbone grounding itself down, grounding your lower back. Maybe a slight tuck in the chin to help us find some length in the back of our neck. Maybe here you want to add some movement, swaying from side to side. If you're here connecting with the spirit of a happy baby, maybe perhaps looking deep in our memory bank when we used to do this as kids. Maybe extending one leg at a time or both. Maybe drawing the soles of the feet together. When you're ready, hugging the knees back into our hearts. From here, let the knees melt over to the right. Take the gaze over to the left. Extending that left hand out, making sure the left shoulder is grounded. Maybe that right hand comes at your knees if you'd like that support. If you'd like some more support here, you can take a pillow in between your knees or at the bottom. Just a gentle twist in the spine, maybe closing our eyes and just breathing. Couple more deep breaths. From here, little by little, we melt the knees towards our hearts. We give ourselves another hug. Coming now for the other side, extending out the arms, now the knees melt over to the left. Really extending that right arm, that right shoulder grounds down. Again, feel free to take some support with a pillow or pillows. Maybe that left hand is supported to your legs. Nothing to do but to just breathe. Give yourself permission to not have to do anything. Couple more breaths. When you're ready, mindfully drawing the knees back through center, giving yourself a hug. From here, the feet come down, the knees open up to the sides. Find a Supta Baddha Konasana. Feet together, knees out wide. From here, right arm goes underneath, left arm goes on top. Maybe find eagle or grab onto your shoulders. They're both beautiful variations here. If you're in eagle, think about sending your forearms towards the sky, your elbows towards the sky. Maybe here playing, sending the fingertips back and the elbows up. Maybe even rounding, sending it down, or just giving yourself a nice hug. Wherever you are, a couple more breaths. From here, we're gonna switch it out. So the right arm was underneath, now it goes on top. Left arm goes at the bottom. Again, maybe you find that eagle, maybe you just wanna grab onto your shoulder blades. If you're in your eagle, feel free to play here. Perhaps notice a difference from the other side. We gently find our release, extending the arms out alongside your body and finding your Shavasana. Maybe you stay where you are with your hip opener. Maybe you come for traditional Shavasana, extending the legs out as well. If you're constantly on your feet, highly encourage you to take legs up the wall if you have a wall available to you. For the sake of demonstration, if you have a wall, the safest and easiest way to get your legs up the wall is to face towards the side of the wall. Send your hips as close to the wall as you can. From here, we melt the lower back down, the hips melt down too, the legs come up, and we find ourselves easily there. And same thing for coming out of it, bending in the knees, gently taking a fetal pose to the side, and then rising our way out of it. So if that's something you take, being mindful of how we get in and out. If you're laying in your Shavasana, let the earth support you completely. I'm going to take my Shavasana in a seated meditation so that my voice can travel better. But just settling into our final moments, into our final pose. Honoring the rhythm of your breath. Maybe growing a gentle smile here. Just bringing some good energy into your face. Let the space between your eyebrows, your forehead center relax. Let your jaw relax. Shoulders and arms relax. Letting the muscles along your vertebrae relax too. And your lower body all the way through the tips of your toes. And honoring this time where we get to go within, where we get to spend time with our higher self.
can stay where you are for as long as you desire. When you are ready to release, just be mindful, coming out through a fetal pose and being gentle and loving with yourself. I encourage you to be gentle and loving to others too. And as our dedication today for our frontline workers, again, I encourage you to give from the heart your love and your support, and to everybody right now. We're all going through our own challenges in our own way, and facing them with love and with compassion for others and for ourselves. Thank you guys so much for sharing your energy with me virtually, for sending that love to yourself and to others. The light in me sees, respects, honors, and loves the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.